Guys, and welcome back to the channel. So let's talk about these so-called South African refugees coming to America. Yes, everybody has got their own opinion, and rightfully so. So my Black American brothers and sisters have been speaking the real, and they've hit the nail on the head on this. So the black people know exactly why these folks left South Africa in the first place. These white South Africans didn't flee because of war or famine. They left because they're afraid of finally being held accountable. And now they've landed in America, a country already dealing with its own problems, where its own citizens are still struggling to be heard and taken care of. So when people say Americans first, it's starting to sound more like a slogan than an actual priority. Because while Americans are out there, fighting for better healthcare, fair wages, housing, and justice, the government seems more interested in rolling out the red carpet to the so-called refugees. And if I'm being honest, these Afrikaners don't qualify as refugees in the traditional sense. They didn't come from, they didn't run from a G-side. So they are in the US because, black South Africans are no longer tolerating being ruled by a group that's been holding onto power for far too long. So this has just shown that these people have always had a problem with black leadership, black progress, and black excellence. But guess what? Black Americans are not new to this. They've dealt with every version of racism this world has to offer. And if anyone goes there thinking they can bring that same energy they are carrying from South Africa, they are in for a rude awakening. So let's just hope that they don't start exercising that same entitlement around black folks in the US, the same entitlement they were exercising with the black South Africans. Let's watch these reaction clips that I've gathered for you guys from TikTok. I'm going to come back at the end of this video to give my own 2 cents. Watch this and leave your own thoughts in the comment section down below.
So let me tell you how racist this country is with the racist president, his administration, or everything. They sat here and put a bunch of white tea South Africans on a plane from South Africa, brought them to Washington, D.C., had a whole press conference, greeted them with open arms. Yes, hi, hello, my beautiful South African refugees. Welcome, welcome. Again, mind you, I thought we was against having people outside of this country being in this country. Didn't matter what they look like, right? What makes the white South Africans so different? What makes them so different than black Haitians or Mexicans indigenous to Mexico? What makes them so different? I'll tell you why it makes them so different. You guys think anybody that doesn't look like you are violent animal criminals. That's why. You think everybody else who ain't white is animalistic. You think they're bad people based off of the color of their skin. And mind you, I don't want to hear, oh, well, Trump is deporting criminals. Not all of them are criminals. Most of them aren't. There's a bunch of them in El Salvador right now that ain't got no criminal record. Again, I thought this country hates refugees, no matter the skin color. But white South Africans, for some reason, get a free pass.
You know what just pissed me off? I was like, let me dig deeper, because I'm like, why are they bringing the South Africans over here? Because I just made a post and I was like, why are they bringing them over here? Why do they need to come here? They're saying they need refugees. Why? You know what the fuck they're coming over here for? Because they feel that they're being targeted due to their race and ownership of land. That they feel that they're a target because of the way that their government is structured. They're claiming that they face systematic judgment due to the black due to the black economic empowerment. This is what's been saying in the fucking US, in America, all this for centuries. And y'all gonna bring over them because they're not getting treated right by the blacks over there in South Africa? You got to be fucking kidding. Y'all got to be kidding me. Y'all better open up your fucking eyes. Trump is playing in our fucking face. Trump is playing in our fucking face. There is no way that they just allowed a whole bunch of South Africans to come over here because they're being discriminated against because of their fucking race. And because y'all, they're playing in our fucking face. They're playing in our y'all go ahead and Google why the refugees came over and sought refuge in the fucking United States. Go ahead, look it up and come back.
I've been reading up on South Africa and these so-called refugees, and I have come to the conclusion that they are running from equality. They stole land back in the 1920s, 30s, and they've been the dominant people since then. The South African president over the last year or so is trying to give some of that land back to the original owners. While our president over here is taking us back 50 years or so. So it all makes sense. They want to come over here so that they can continue to be the dominant party, because that is where America is headed. Well, that's where we are. But you know what? I saw somebody say that when you are so used to privilege, equality feels like oppression. And that is what they are feeling, and the white tea people in America also feeling, and that's why they're feeling this, this black fatigue thing. I even had somebody in my comments say, well, I'm a white woman and I might be oppressed because I see black people with better cars, houses, and everything. With all of the barriers that we have to go through and discrimination today, that says a lot about you, because there is no reason why you don't have those things. So yeah, I think right now, we're all numb to this, huh? It's a new thing every day, and it's like, oh wow, he's really doing that. And then they lied about not cutting Medicaid, but that's a whole nother story. So you're bringing white tea refugees over here, paid for them to get over here, gonna give them benefits out of American taxpayer dollars, but then you're cutting millions of taxpayers' Medicaid. There's so many homeless veterans who need help. Y'all, stay woke, okay?
So, doesn't look like South Africa's sending their best. Look at these haircuts. What? Is that a toupee? Where is he gonna work? It doesn't look like he works a lot or works out a lot, for that matter. He looks like he's gonna be mooching super hard. What are their pronouns? They look super legitimacy. If you ask me, I thought those were the people corrupting the country, but you're inviting more in? That's odd. Who approved this haircut? She looks 4 going on 40. What are these headphones? These don't look like refugees. These look like your typical trailer park neighbors. It looks like South Africa sent a whole trailer park community, I don't know if they have that there, to America. We got enough of those. You just sent over a bunch of South African myths. This looks like MAGA. If you didn't know these people were from South Africa, this just looks like MAGA. The lack of style, the terrible haircuts, the flag waving, the hats to hide your baldness, the toupees to hide your baldness. This is the best y'all could send? That's the best y'all could come up with? Damn. Hey, maggots. Where's your concern about this? I thought we were closing our borders. What's going on? Is the wall selective? We know the answer. Is the wall selective? Is it? Can certain people cross depending on what your skin color is? Even if they don't look like they have anything to offer the country? Because damn, I haven't heard much from you guys. I thought you didn't like immigration. I thought we can't accept any more refugees. What are they running from? Justice? Oh. This country is laughable. It's laughable. It's time to go. It's time to go.
So in today's news, this actually happened. So basically, the Trump administration welcomed 59 South African white refugees, saying they face discrimination and violence at home, which the country's government strongly denied. And a lot of questions were raised from refugee advocate groups, basically saying that you had a whole bunch of other people that were trying to resettle with families and fleeing from war-torn countries, and you took them through this extensive vetting process. And Donald Trump basically said he admitting these refugees because they are facing genocide within their own country. So in a statement, he said that in a post-apartheid South African government or country, white farmers are being unalived. And he plans to address the issue with the South African government sometime next week. But in a turn of events, the South African government responded and said that the U.S. allegations that white minority Afrikaners are being persecuted are completely false. So the result of misinformation and an inaccurate view of the country is cited that the Afrikaners are among the richest and most successful people in the country. So the Trump administration has falsely claimed that white South Africans are having their land taken away by the government under some type of new law that takes the land away because you're white. And the South African government, they deny this claim as well. And if you didn't know, Trump has promoted the allegation that white farmers in South Africa are being unalived on a large scale for as far as back as 2018 during his first term. So let me tell you this. I don't care if you a white person. I don't care if you whatever color you are. Common sense is common sense. I know some people out there hail Trump as the great savior. But if you have any common sense of what's going on and you actually do your research in your right mind, in your human mind that makes sense, I know you would think this is a crock of bull. But of course, some of you won't, because all you see is white against black. And like that is kind of something else in its own. But my whole take on this thing is you have homeless people in your own country. You have people that's going through a lot in their country. I mean, like wars. I mean, like, man, religious, all types of things. But just because when the apartheid was going on, it was all good. But now since the government is taking control of unfair practices that happened, and that's a fact, it's a problem. That is absolutely what's going on. So you can live in denial all you want to and say that racism doesn't exist anymore. But then I just look at you like, you absolutely can't believe that.
Anywho. All right. So, you know, these refugees that they are mentioning currently right now that they're talking about bringing over and having them established in homes for free and property and blah, 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 right? And how they were talking about how they're so fearful of their life and they're fearful of their. Okay. There is a show, if y'all have access to Netflix, there is a show on Netflix called Dark Tourist. I need y'all to go look at it. Specifically season 1, episode 7, because it's only one season. I think there's 9 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. And he visits places like the person or whoever the director is, or the guy who's doing the documentary. He visits places that typically nobody would ever go to. Like these places are full of like mass murder, or something catastrophic has happened where there's severe radiation, so people can't go there and things of that nature. Like he visits these places, right? And he documents them. And he unveils like dark tourism. So now he's here in season 7 in Africa. And I just need y'all to pay attention to the people who they are bringing over here as refugees. And I want y'all to ask yourselves, where do black people stand once they come into interaction with these people? And there's a reason why, because black people are the plot in this episode. I just need y'all to just give it a look. Just if you have Netflix. If not, write it down below if you don't have Netflix, and I'll just explain what happened. Okay? I'm about to rewatch the episode and refresh it because I specifically remember. Never mind. I just need y'all to go watch it.
This is the worst time to be entering into this country. And the people they think that they will identify with, they think just because they like Donald Trump too, they're all going to get along. Oh, no, they won't. You're still an immigrant. And they will remind you, you are still an immigrant. They remind Elon Musk over and over again that he's still an immigrant. And they kind of like him. These people are not going to get the American dream that they're hoping for. And because of the tensions here in this country, I am positive they will be looking for ways to go back within 5 years. And because of the things that they are getting, MAGA will feel betrayed. Let's be real. They will feel betrayed. Especially the ones that are the poorest, the ones who specifically were trying to make sure that immigrants did not get all of these benefits. They're going to look around and go, wait, I'm still not getting anything? But Mr. Trump, we voted for you. We love you. Oh, it's going to be a problem. Now, we all know in public, they're going to say the same stuff. Oh, we love what he's doing. It's great. We're so happy that he's, looking out for people. And the left think that not all, they're going to say all their BS. But you all know the second they get into their own private quarters and around their own circles, as soon as they can get to a computer or a phone and get on that ghost account that doesn't have a profile picture and has no friends, they will be saying the most offensive and angry things about these white Afrikaners. It is going to happen. I can't wait to see the fallout because people are not okay with this. All right. Conservative Reddit, they not liking what's happening with these people coming over here and getting all of the benefits that they're getting. Will this make them turn away from Donald Trump? I doubt it. But they will be taking their frustrations out on these immigrants. Book it.
I ain't trying to start nothing. But with those new Afrikaners, is that how y'all say it? Coming over here, what you think those white veterans that voted for Trump, how you think they feel right now about that? What you think about all of these white people who voted for him that lost their jobs? What you think they feeling about it? About their mortgage payments, about the inflation? Do you think that they're celebrating these folks coming over here and getting housing and getting land given to them when they're immigrants? This is the main thing that those folks was complaining about, immigration, right? And now he's bringing folks in and putting them before his constituents. I'm going to tell you how I know that importing those South Africans was a huge mistake and it's not going to work. It's not going to work for them. What's going to happen when Donald Trump and that whole group is voted out and not in there? Because I'm going to tell you something that's going to happen, that's guaranteed, is that in those primaries next year, the Senate turning blue. The Senate and the House turning blue. This country is going to make sure they kick every last red person out who supported this man. You got MAGA people tired of him. You know it's deep when even his own group of people, a lot of them is tired. You think they're going to forget that? You think the police unions are going to forget that? You think the police unions are happy about those South Africans coming over here? Do y'all think that some of the Hispanics that are still here that voted for him, you think they're happy about that when some of their family members got kicked out? This is the dumbest administration I've ever seen, because they are doing counterculture. They're doing the complete opposite of what it would take to win the votes of their own people. Now, what's going to happen is, mark my words, when the Senate turn blue, they're going to pass legislation to ban immigrants from owning several acres of land. They're not, listen, watch what happens to them. Yeah, I feel bad. No, I don't. I take that back. Yeah, I don't feel bad. But that was a dumb move. They had land there already, and they're dealing with the drama back there. Hey, you're going to deal with the drama here because this government is going to snatch the land from you if you're an immigrant. You're not going to be able to do that here.
Yeah, so let's talk about this. So before we wrap this up, let me just say this. I really don't think bringing these Afrikaners to America was a good idea. It might sound harsh, but if you're being real, this move could spark a lot of chaos. And the first wave won't even come from who you think. It's going to start with MAGA supporters. Yes, I said it. It's going to start with MAGA supporters. Let's face the facts. Over the past 3 months, a lot of Americans have lost their jobs. Some have had their government benefits cut, and that includes the people from all walks of life, including those who are proudly MAGAs. Now, tell me this: how do you think MAGA supporters are feeling right now about the government opening the doors wide open for these white South African refugees watching? How do you think they're going to respond to this? See, this is not just about race or politics. It's about survival. Americans, black, white, brown, are struggling. Rent is high, food prices are through the roof, and people are out here trying to stretch every dollar. Then all of a sudden, here comes these so-called refugees being welcomed in and given resources. It doesn't sit right with a lot of folks, and it doesn't sit right with me, yes. And the tensions are, bubbling. Now let's talk about lifestyle differences, because something a lot of people don't know, or maybe just don't think about, is the cost of living gap between South Africa and America. So in South Africa, you can get a whole house for as little as 500 to 1,000 US dollars. You can rent a modern apartment for way less than what a studio costs in most US cities. Bills are cheaper in South Africa. Groceries are more affordable in South Africa. While life in the US is completely different from South Africa. They're going to face a lot of challenges with this, and I think that's where the problem is going to come, because the government is going to keep funding these people, giving them this and that. Now imagine transitioning from that to America, where rent alone can wipe out half of your paycheck. You've got light bills, gas, internet bills, health insurance, car payments, card credits, and on top of that, taxes that you can barely understand. These people are in for a major culture shock. The pressure they are going to feel in trying to keep up with the cost of living in the US is going to hit them hard and fast. This is going to force them to go back. I'm telling you, give them 2 years. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them start looking for a way back, because this already sounds dramatic, but it's real. Once the reality kicks in, when they realize that this isn't the land for endless handouts and opportunity like they may have thought, it's going to break them down. America isn't soft, and the system wasn't designed with newcomers in mind, especially not those who come in with entitlement, expectation, or prejudice in their hearts. The real kicker: what happens next? What happens if people get a new administration? If there's change of administration in the US, if the government flips in the next elections? Let's not forget what we saw the last time power changed. Refugees who entered under one administration, the Biden administration, were suddenly told, that they had to leave under another. So now what happens to these South African immigrants if the switch of government happens again? Because whether people want to admit it or not, immigration policy in the US swings wildly, depending with who's in the office. One day it's welcome everyone, the next it's go back to where you came from. And if that pendulum swings back the other way, these folks could very well find themselves packing up and heading right back to what they were running from. So the question is, was all of this even worth it? Did they really think they were escaping something worse, or are they about to discover they ran straight into the storm they can't handle? Because again, America is not the safe haven it used to be, or once was, according to my research, the things that I watch, for immigrants, especially not in the economy right now, not in the political climate it is in right now, and definitely not with the racial history that still haunts the US country today. These Afrikaners might have thought they landed on top, that they will be met with comfort, resources, and privilege, but the story is gonna change quickly and faster than we thought. I can bet on that. And Black Americans, they've seen all this before. They know how these types operate. They know the look, the tone, the energy. They've dealt with it for generations, but they're not playing the same game anymore. They're not sitting silent or turning the other cheek. So if anybody thinks they're going to show up and bring that superiority complex with them, they better be ready for a whole new different America than the one they imagined. So with all that said, I want to hear from you guys, your thoughts. How do you feel about this whole situation? Do you think bringing these South Africans to the US under refugee status makes sense? How do you think MAGA supporters are going to react to this? I know you don't care about that, but I just want us to talk about this as a conversation. And what do you think will happen if there's a major change in government? Please tell me what's going to happen, especially that you guys are American. Tell me what's going to happen to these guys when there's change of government. Please drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm reading all of them. And if you've been paying attention, you already know that this story is just getting started, okay? You guys have Africans, refugees in your country. So we're going to be watching a lot of drama from this. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, so that, in fact, you should turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my videos, because we're going to get deeper with this. This isn't about migration. It's about power, history, accountability, and the fight for truth in a country that's still figuring out what it wants to be. Yeah, please make sure you share this video, because YouTube is really suppressing my views. I don't know why. If you share this video, you're going to help me to reach a wider audience. And as usual, please stay peaceful. See you in my next video.